जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೈ
পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो.
Welcome back to Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher. I have a very smiley Shaun Pollock and a not so smiley Bhattacharya. Well, no prizes for guessing why. What do you all think? You know, the 37 at the power play point and the 210 didn't go so very well for Bhattacharya.
I mean, very ambitious Joy today. Very ambitious. Thought what his team would post. Thought what they'd be after the 6-over power play, and thought that they might get the points. It just wasn't going to happen.
Not
Joy?
your day. Not your day, Mr. Bhattacharya.
So the bowling and really good. One great news if you're an India fan, just to see Surya Kumar Yadav get back in form. He's just 43 of 25 currently, but just batting so
I think he's just gotten out. It's the curse is the Cricbuzz, not combox, but just probably the studio curse. Every time he starts speaking well, someone has to go. But the return of the Jedis, if I may say, because Ishan Kishan and Surya Kumar Yadav. Ishan Kishan was just beautiful, the start that MI wanted, because that kind of gave the other batsmen to time to settle in.
Yeah, I think we said it in the show before, is that they've got the match winners. I mean, there's no doubt about the quality of those guys. Ishan Kishan, he's got a 200 one-day format. So, I mean, he's got the ability to strike it. And he was really good up front. He struck it sweet. We were expecting...
That's actually Surya's stats. I think Ishan is the other one. They've just got it wrong. That's probably Surya's stats. Because I think Ishan got 58 of 25. So, I think there's a little bit there, I think, which is... but, yeah, absolutely. I thought Ishan Kishan was absolutely sensational. And what he did was that Rohit could allow himself to take a couple of shots, but Ishan was the guy who was taking the risks up front. And that, I think, really made a difference. Because what we had also felt was that once the spinners come in, it's going to make a difference. Again, I want to go back. Overs 2, 3, 4. 16 runs, 17 runs, 22 runs. 55 runs in those 3 overs. And the match totally changed. It's totally transformed. And I think that those 3 overs, it was Ishan Kishan doing the running.
You know, Ishan Kishan has spoken about how the atmosphere, like MI has made him there we got it right, don't worry. Today, lots of confusion in general, but Ishan Kishan's stats are up here. 58 runs in those 25 balls. He's spoken about how the atmosphere really makes him comfortable and how MI has really helped him with the general atmosphere. So when he's down and out, he needs that comfort which he gets in MI. So he hasn't had the best run, but clearly the atmosphere has helped him, score these 58 runs.
They're surrounded by good players, though, isn't he? I mean, he's got Rohit with all that experience. Surya's, although he hasn't played many years for India, he's played enough to be relaxed, and he's got the hitting power, someone like a Pollard's around. I think it's a good thing, and he is a class player. I mean, he's got that firepower, and your point is right, Joy, is that if they had got off to a quiet start and the Kolkata spinners had come in, it could have been touch and go. But they were so far ahead of the rate after 2 or 3 overs that, the spinners coming in were actually under pressure. So, I think at this stage for me, Mumbai looked like a side. You chase as a Mumbai team, I think you win most of your games because you've got that hitting ability all the way down, experience. But I don't think if you have to defend 180, that bowling lineup that they've currently got, I'm sure it'll change. I'm sure other personnel will come back. They'll want to get Jofra Archer back in. But when you look at the inexperience, and you just feel that, in fact, Kolkata were, as Joyce said, 20 runs short of what they probably should have got because, it wasn't great bowling. It was just Chawla who stood head and shoulders above the rest. But besides that, it's not the kind of, this current bowling lineup is not the kind of bowling lineup that's going to win a tournament for Mumbai. They'll have to get the more experienced, better players in.
Well, I think there's still 7 of 19. I don't think we should expect any surprises and it should be smooth sailing for MI. But positives for KKR, I think Surya Sharma was somebody who was very, very impressive. It's his debut, but he's looking like a seasoned player already.
I think Surya Sharma is definitely a huge positive for them. I think, of course, Venkatesh Iyer has got a century after so long for Kolkata. I think he played well. I felt perhaps he lost his way a little in the 80s and 90s. He lost his way and that could have cost Kolkata a few runs. But still, he hit 100 of 55 odd balls. I mean, it's the rest of his team who really didn't deliver. Given what he did, I mean, the total should have ended up somewhere around 200. And
at that time, though, I think it was Rana batting with him. I mean, he was also only going to run the ball, so they both. I mean,
I think it was Rinku.
I think Rinku got a 17 of 18 and he was going to run a ball.
But that's where, as a partnership, you've got to understand, okay, the guy's trying to get a milestone. I've actually got to take pressure off him. Rather than trying to give him the singles to get strike, you've got to whack it so that he can take his time. And those 3 or 4 overs, you went through them at the half time when it was like 7, 5, 4.
Yeah.
They needed to have pressed on, particularly with the firepower
14
of
the last
Trey
6. What do you say?
But Surya Sharma's coming back to him a little bit, because that one over we were chatting about, those 2 dot balls and then that wicket that he got, he is somebody who seems like, again, can handle the pressure. He's not getting baffled when he gets hit around for a few 4s or a 6. He knows how to deal with the pressure.
Yeah, he does. I think he'll get better. I mean, it's all about control for him. I mean, he's got to be able to hit those areas more consistently. When you look at his action, I mean, the head position he gets it in and sort of flicks it from out
like
there.
Paul Adams.
A little bit, yes. That's actually what he reminds me of. So it's a hard one to perfect. But as he goes through the years, I think he'll get a bit of understanding. It's just consistency. I mean, you've got those guys muddled. You know, it doesn't matter who walks to the crease. They're all kind of looking for what the ball's going to do. So if he has a day where he lands it consistently, I think he'll be a real handful.
Joy, just a little on MI's batting, because of course Rohit got those 20-odd runs, but the stars for today were Ishan Kishan, and we can finally smile and be relieved, because all I wanted is Surya to get off the mark, because, you know, he gets those 5-10 runs in, we knew he'll go well. So finally Surya gets those 43 runs in, and of course Tilak Verma, who's just been consistent.
Oh, absolutely consistently, superbly consistent. And I think, again, knowing what job you have to get done. And I think there's that one particular shot, there's one that the ball just sat up. I think it was Varun Chakravarti and Surya hit that first 4. That's the first time you said, okay, something's going well. And then when he hit that ball over not mid-wicket, square leg, the 6-over square leg, and you said, this is the Surya we know, you know. And if he's returned, that's very good news for Mumbai. Again, they are not the greatest bowling attack, but every time you have batting like that, batting from 1 to 6, you're always going to say these guys are always in the game, because they can put 240 on the board, or on the other hand, they can chase down anything. That team can chase down anything.
He promoted himself up the order. You think that helped him today probably, and also just captaining the first innings maybe?
Yeah, maybe we got insight into how he's got a bit more self-belief when he's captain, promotes himself up. But yeah, I mean, looking at that situation, there was 2. Yesterday there was a game where the Fizz bowled 2 deliveries. He bowled one, I think, to Virat, which was a leg stump outside, and then 2 balls later, a long wide hop. And then today, Chakravarti. I mean, the cricket awareness has to be better than that. You know, as a coach, you pull your hair out, because Surya walks to the crease, he comes up, he promotes himself, but he doesn't get a ball away. His first 2, he kind of hits tentatively. You give him a rank, long hop, outside, off stump. He gets off the mark and he goes, and it's like, if you just have the awareness of knowing inside his brain what he's actually thinking, what he's actually going through, you don't offer that up. You really don't give him a freebie. So that would have been deflating from a Kolkata perspective.
I've seen exactly that happen. There used to be a player, I won't mention names now. In fact, he used to play for the Deccan Chargers, who we used to call a bolter. As in, he just had to drop the ball down and run. If he didn't get his first run off the board, he'd get really nervous. So the moment you do that, point fielder comes in closer. So you don't allow him that, he's going to do something stupid. And at least twice we got him out because he couldn't get that single and then did something stupid. Exactly that. When you know a player is in such form, you want to do something about it. And that's one. The other thing I want to mention is this Surya Sharma, for all he bowled, cannot seem to find a place to play for Delhi in the first class game, in the T20 game, in the state game. Come on. That's the bowler you saw. Everyone in Delhi can see that bowler. How can he not be playing for his state team? I'm sorry, there's something happening.
What we will say is points in the bag for Mumbai. Let's move on to the next game.
Let's move on to the next one. Like Polly said, these stories can continue. Positives on KKR can continue, but we have to move on to the next game. And Joy Sir can now smile and be a little more relaxed, because we move on to a game where he's not so emotionally invested into, because Rajasthan take on Gujarat. Rajasthan has won the toss and they've decided to bowl first. Due factor comes in whenever there's an evening game. They've gone to bowl first. No surprise there.
Who cares about due factor these days? It's win the toss and bowl first, wherever you kind of play. Yeah. But this is going to be a great game, isn't it? I mean, the final from last year, you've got 2 of the sides. They're 1-3 currently on the table. So it's exciting to see how it goes, and I think Rajasthan are a really good side chasing. So no surprise they win the toss and say, we'll bowl first.
They've won the toss and they've decided to have a lot of changes. So let's have a look at Rajasthan's 11. This is their bowling team because Riyan Parag comes back in, Trent Bolt is in and Adam Zampa gets in. So they've gone ahead with their 4 foreigners. So clearly a foreigner sub can't happen. But lots of changes in for Rajasthan.
Yeah, look, this is basically Devdutt Padikkal's gone out. And
he'll be there for the batting, no?
Yes, when the batting comes.
He'll come back for the batting. So they'll strengthen the batting. Probably Trent Bolt or somebody will go out in batting. Or Adam Zampa will go out for the batting and Trent Bolt, he'll come in. Interesting. I mean, this is not too much of a change, and that bowling attack is a really lethal bowling attack. It's perhaps the best bowling attack you'll see. I mean, look at it. You know, your new balls, you've got really good new ball bowlers. Following that, you have 3 of the classiest spinners that you have in this tournament. I mean, Adam Zampa joining Ashwin and Chahal. What else do you want? I mean, you're going to have 12 overs of class spin, Trent Bolt up front and at the end. I mean, this is a really, really good team to. It's the best bowling team.
As a captain, the hardest thing is to make sure that they don't get upset about when they bowl. True, because your options are so rich.
No, but just talking about Ashwin, because he's somebody who's been so economical in the power play or wherever he's come in and bowled. I don't think he's given more than 29 odd runs this IPL. He's somebody who always gives us a lot to talk about. We see his numbers here. He's gone for 1 for 27. So it's been 27 is the maximum he's given in his 4 overs. So Ashwin is somebody who you can always throw the ball to and know that you're going to get a really tight spell.
Go.
No, I was just saying that the great thing is that every time he's bowled in the power play.
Yes.
He's bowled in the power play, and for spinners to bowl in the power play, it's not easy because just 2 outside, you have a chance of being hit. And in all that, not given more than 27 an over is, I think, absolutely sensational. Look, this is, I mean, I know that you're getting wickets from Chair at the other side, but remember, he'll tell you before anyone else, bowlers hunt in packs. When there's pressure from one side, risks are taken at the other side. So if one player is, being really economical, odds on the other bowler is going to get risks and get wickets.
He's also a kind of guy, you do get the feeling that you want to always keep him engaged. And if he's engaged in the team setup, I think you're going to get the best of him. And I think that the good point what they've done is the little bit of promotion they give him every once in a while from a batting perspective.
True.
They just say, listen, you just go up. You go up a little bit higher. Go and express yourself. And it kind of makes him feel like more important in the side. And then when you give him the ball, he's like really focused on trying to do a job for the team. Other times in teams, if you're in his situation, there can be situations where he bowls his 4 overs, but he kind of disengages after that because he feels, well, I've done my job now. This way, though, that they're going about it, I really feel that they've got him in and they've got him part, and it's bringing the best out of him.
But what's very exciting is that there are some big names coming in the Gujarat lineup because their batting goes on and on. Let's have a look at their 11. Okay, so Vijay Shankar is out, surprising, and Abhinav Manohar is in. Vijay Shankar's had quite a good run so far, so I wonder why he's
surprise,
out.
Because this is their batting lineup, right? They're batting first.
Yeah,
this is their batting lineup.
Just the 3 overseas, so bowling-wise, who gets introduced?
Yeah, so they'll bring Joshua Little. Joshua Little, the fast bowler, in for one of the batsmen. But this is a decent batting side. Interestingly, Abhinav Manohar was the guy who was supposed to be the big player last year, got some really good knocks for them. But it must have been when the camp they saw that Sai Sudarshan has done really well, and Vijay Hazare must have impressed them really. So they were probably feeling, let's give Abhinav Manohar a chance. This is the time to blood him, get him into the game. And if both work, then it's a problem of plenty. It's not a problem that, Gujarat will be happy to have that problem.
Probably one thing that Gujarat would want is Hardik Pandya to shine because this season has been a little low profile. Yes, he loves playing against his opponent. We can see it here. Even in the final last year, if I remember correct, he got those 3 wickets and some 34 runs that he got. So he loves playing against Rajasthan. Maybe today is the day to show up to the party.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a change of role for him since he's moved. I mean, at MI, he was coming in, 5, 6, 7. And there's been more responsibility. And last year, it seemed to do good for him. He got in there early at times and managed to get some scores. But he's kind of struggled a little bit so far in the tournament. But he's a good player, so I'm not overly concerned. I mean, personally, I'm sure he would love to get a nice score under the belt and then take it from there.
You think Joy is somebody who doesn't take pressure at all because he looks like that person who's just like, okay, it's all chilled, I'm going to come out. Today's a new day, I'm going to come out and play.
This team doesn't take pressure. This team is a very much management run team. Ashish Nehra, Vikram Solanki, Ashish Kapoor, all the guys there are very peaceful. They don't take pressure. They will allow him to play.
You haven't been watching the video that came out? Did you see Hardik have a go at Ashish?
No.
You haven't seen that one? There's a little clip that's going around where he gives a signal like, I'll captain this team from the field, all right? Because Ashish was trying to move someone. So maybe they've got a little chink going on there. But in general, they've got a great relationship.
No, but you're right. It possibly 100% would have happened in the heat of the moment. But yeah, they're peaceful. And the other thing is that, look, your team has won, is 3-1. The one match that they lost, somebody scored 30 runs in the last over. You know what I mean? So this is a team that's doing very well. Interesting will be after this. So far, that one match you shrug off, say, okay, if somebody gets hit for 30 in the last over, it happens once in a lifetime perhaps. But after this, if this match is up against their finalist opponent, they beat these guys 3-0 last year. Every time they played, they beat them last year. So this is a big one for them.
I just think they've got a good bit of experience in the right spots. So you've got your Pandya and Miller at the back end of an innings when they have to try and close things out.
There's a Rashid as well.
Yeah. And then you look at the bowling department. I mean, how much more experience can you have
fantastic.
there? So up front, they've got experience. In the middle overs, they've got wonderful experience. And then at the back end, they've got experience. It's probably slightly weaker at the back end. That's maybe the only challenge. That's why in that one game, they get the extra 30 taken off them. But that's also, they went to their most inexperienced player to bowl that final over. If you go to anyone else. So they do have most bases covered. And the form of the guys, the top three, which you would look at and say, okay, well, maybe that's not their strength. It's been fantastic. So they must be really happy.
Actually in the last game, like I said, Ashwin always gives us a lot to talk about. So in the last game, he was very good like always, but he spoke about how he was a little surprised that the umpires went and changed the ball for the due reasons. They went and got the second ball in. He said the players were not informed, and he said, I was a little surprised with that. Does that happen usually?
Yeah, I mean, you usually take the ball to the umpires and say, well, this is soap. How am I supposed to grab hold of it? And they're supposed to use their discretion as to whether you're trying to pull a fast one or whether you actually genuinely can't hold the ball. But they usually do consult. So they'll maybe say, listen, this is the ball. Show the batters that this is what's on the go, and then make the decision to change. So maybe I didn't see the actual incident, whether they did or didn't go around it, or whether they just changed it at a strategic break.
Knowing Ashwin's a spinner, he'd be happy to get a dry ball in. So I can't understand why he was a little confused with this decision.
Maybe he thought the ball was a bit too new, had too much shine on it.
Yeah, so that might have been too hard, and that's what he wouldn't have wanted.
He would have wanted a softer, slightly more scuffed up ball.
But with Ashwin, there's something else. He's somebody who I just love following his social media. I just love following what he speaks about. He's someone who, personally to me, started once, and he said that he's in the lockdown tried bowling with both his hands, and someday he wants to probably bowl with his left hand. Never know when he's going to do that.
Someone else has tried that, haven't they?
Yeah, there was a bowler.
In the studio, there's someone who's tried that.
You have? Seriously, where?
No, not me.
No, just
No. I know nothing about that. Wait a minute. Wait for the release. Let's do it properly.
Yes. And I'm just an actor. No cricket.
Okay, just check.
Yes. But now we need to go to something that, Joy Bhattacharya has miserably failed at in the last game.
I won yesterday.
But we have to take your case.
We'll forgive him for one game because he allowed emotion to come into his decision of what was going on.
You can't let emotion come into sport, can you? You have to be clinical about it. Now I think you'll come back strong. So at the first innings point, what's it going to be?
Good. We're playing at Ahmedabad. It's a really good bowling attack. I'm going to go 175 because I think this is a very good batting side against a very good bowling side.
Conservative, 175.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go 182.
Right?
I'm stuck now.
I didn't leave any gap between.
Yeah, there's no gap.
You either got to go low or high.
175, 182. I'm going to go with 187 only because I have no choice and I have decided to go last with the guessing game. That's the only reason why. Because I have got one right. Let's see if I just get lucky.
Well, if
again.
we don't, none of us win, then you go first next time.
Yes,
Okay, done.
We shall do that. That's all we have time for right now. Don't forget to join us at the 10 over point at the Cricbuzz Combox. See you all later.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction,
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲು ಚೆನ್ನೈ ತಿರುಚಿರಾಪಳ್ಳಿ
পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दो